Hey, everybody, it's the Ken's Talk Top 100 podcasts. We've had some advancements in this Excel file, messing around, looking at all the different best pods to listen to. It's really the future of broadcasting. I think that what podcasts represent, which is finding really tailored audio and spending time with your earbuds and close to a podcast, is a really cool thing to do. And so looking at everything that's out there and getting it all together. Big advancements today in the file, for example. I've been grabbing iTunes information from the beginning for the last 4 videos. I think I've done 3 or 4 videos. I'm adding Stitcher now. I'm going to add all the different sources on here eventually. But I'm adding Stitcher just to see where things line up. And so here what you're looking at is a comparison over really today, on January 23rd, Friday, or Thursday. It's Thursday's iTunes information and Stitcher's information from, very early in the morning on Friday. So what's cool is to see which ones roll up on both of these different sites, right? I know they're going to have different distributions here, but it's just cool to look. This American Life, one of the reasons why I think podcasts are going to be so successful is NPR, which is the most prolific radio-ish arm that has gone out and created, made a push in the podcasting market, has a lot of these on this list, a huge amount on this list. And this is a push from an NPR-based show originally, right? NPR distributed show. So they're at the number 1. Okay, cool. Marketplace on Stitcher. I may have some name stuff I need to mess around with here, so I'm not sure if this actually exists on the iTunes chart under a different name. But either way, I don't see it right here. Criminal, see stuff that doesn't show up at all that's really high in one. Like Criminal is really high in iTunes, non-existent on Stitcher, might not be on Stitcher. PO'd with Dennis Miller and Adam Carolla. See, I think the Adam Carolla stuff does not get distributed on Stitcher at all. So, and this is a really funny one. This has only been, I believe, a 30-second episode. And it made me think about the iTunes list and how there's a lot of promotion involved with episodes. So it's a 30-second episode. Maybe iTunes is looking at how long someone, the percentage of completion of the podcast that the person does. On a 30-second episode, everybody listens to it. It's a promo, so that may artificially bump things up on the iTunes chart. Because if you look at NPR Invisibilia, did this too. NPR Invisibilia is number 1 on iTunes, right here, and it's number 18 on Stitcher. They did this too with a promo that got them to way up to like number 3 or 9 or something real fast. It's very cool looking. Now I have other stuff I want to go over. It was nice to see. Let me just look at some Stitcher stuff for a second. This is what's our best way to look at this? The Stitcher stuff that came out, and here's your order on everything on Stitcher. The reason I bring it up is I listened to Tech News Today a lot. And if I look for tech, there's This Week in Tech. See, actually, I listen to This Week in Tech. I listen to Tech News Today. So these showed up on Stitcher, but they did not show up on iTunes at all, I believe. Because I listen to them, they're not showing up on iTunes, right? But they are on the iTunes list. Tech News Today was really cool because Windows 10 came out. There's some big news in tech. And Mike Elgin is the host of that show. He does a really good job. They're so current. It's just like, oh my God, tech is happening today. It's happening today. And podcasts, bam, you get this stuff out. You set it to a schedule. I really like it. And This Week in Tech is a weekly roundup with Leo Laporte, and it's just fantastic. This is a great 2 hours every Sunday. I'm not kicking this. I really like it. Because tech is the future. And you got to present it in a way that's digestible. So I like to see that in 62, even though it doesn't exist anywhere on iTunes. Now, one other thing that got me thinking was, so I listened to Tech News Today, right? And they had a ad for Blue Apron. Great name. Any name that makes you think of a picture is always a great name for when you're doing advertising. Blue Apron. Now, I like Mike Elgin. One of the things about podcasts, you have to like the host. It's got to be personal. You're spending the earbuds thing. You're being real close to someone else, and they're almost broadcasting to you. That's the great thing about podcasting. It feels more like that if you're doing it right than TV or even regular radio is. So, Mike Elgin, I like the guy. I've been listening to him a lot lately. So, he starts doing an ad for this Blue Apron company, and he's talking about how, hey, I'd like to cook, but anytime I cook, my wife's like, "Why didn't I just order out?" So there's this company that must use tech. I don't know. I think it's they send you the meals or something. They send you super instructions, and then you have pecan crusted catfish, and it's awesome. And he used the product, and he's selling it, and I'm like, I order out a lot. I eat. Do you eat? Do you any? Do you or any of your friends know people who digest calories, intake calories? Do you know? You know anybody like that? You know people who spend money on food? It's a great ad, and actually, normally I don't want to be that one who gets susceptible and like buys into ads because I think most radio ads are crap, especially on like a lot of AM radio stations. It's just sell gold, buy gold, whatever. It's terrible, and this ad was really good, and it got me thinking. So this is something I might use, and it made me realize the power of advertising, and how advertising on podcasts, it just like you do it on TV, it's going to be a big industry, and the power of the ads can be much more effective this way. Just an aside, but it just got me thinking about why I'm doing this and because I'm going to spend a lot of day with podcasts. That's why I want to know what's the best thing. I'd rather listen to people who I trust than buy products. Advertising is just going to blow up. That's a Ken Stock prediction. It's really going to work. This is a great medium for it. So, so I looked at all the Stitcher stuff. What else did we want to do? We wanted to compare. Let's look at just iTunes over the last 2 days because I've been tracking it so long. I don't have Stitcher data from prior to today, so that wasn't a side right now. But so you got Invisibilia on top, but now it's a little suspect to me because it's not number one on Stitcher. It's actually on Stitcher, but it's down at 15. So this Look ID thing, because I was tracking certain issues, and I called them the Carolla issues because I've been a Carolla fan for a long time. Not really anymore, but I was for a long time. And he's on this list all the time. And there was this issue about the promo episode being super high up. Like you can do all this kind of cool stuff with. I have these new graphs for checking out effect of different issues. Like this is Allison Rosen. You probably not be able to see that very well. This is Allison Rosen and how she's moved around over the period of time, throughout the year. And you can see things dropped off, but she did make an appearance again after being off the chart. You can see she missed a day here. She was all the way down, but one of her later episodes was a little better. But you can see it's dying off, this whole issue. And then Carolla comes out of nowhere with the P.O. Desmos. So this is all Carolla podcasts, You could do this Look ID thing with, instead of using Carolla here, we could say, all right, any NPR type podcast, how are they doing? So you could type in NPR, and you could see overall all the NPR related podcasts that have NPR in the name. This is how they've trended average-wise overall. And I'm just, by adding these lookup IDs and different sources of information, like what about NPR stuff on Stitcher? There's different NPR stuff on Stitcher. I don't know how to look to do it. There's just so much to do. I had to record a video because it's so awesome and I have to share.